Good morning, everybody, and welcome to our project website webinar. So this morning, you all are going to learn about how to update your project websites. You're going to learn what is the point of your project websites and also what are our requirements for your project websites. So as you can see, there's already some people who are active and engaging on the chat. Please feel free to respond and interact with one another on the chat. That way you feel a bit connected. You're online at home, but you're also participating with people from across Europe this morning. So also, if you have any questions, please head to our Slido. Actually, not the Zoom chat. This is specifically for questions that you have for us, and our team will answer them as the morning progresses. So yes, interactions on the Zoom chat. But if you have any specific questions, the Slido is going to be where that all takes place. Our webinar this morning is going to be recorded and then published afterwards. So if you need to review anything, you're going to be able to have access to that. And also, if you have any other specific questions about any videos or anything that's in the presentation, this will all be made available afterwards. We're also going to talk towards the end about some helpful tips and other places where you can find resources. So this morning on the agenda, we will be hearing from my fellow communications officer, Julie Patenaude, who is our main person who handles the website in our communications team, which is a lot of work. So thank you, Julie, so much for all the work that you do and for being with us here this morning. As you can see, we're going to go and watch some videos, some tutorials that we have on your project websites, from communication requirements and principles to getting started editing your project website, along with some help and some tips. Now, you're also going to enjoy a quiz or two, so make sure to pay attention to what is going on, and you're going to be asked to do a little quiz on this knowledge that you're gaining. So make sure to pay attention. And also, of course, we will have some opportunities for Q&A. So if you have a really specific burning question, you'll be able to ask that via our Slido, which you see now. And now we're going to launch the first poll. So that is, what experience do you have with website editing? Some of you maybe have some experience in the past with other Interreg Europe projects. We know that there's some people who come and work with us very frequently. Maybe it's your first time. We'd love to hear that too. Or maybe you even have some experience with something completely separate to the Interreg Europe context. So please let us know. Yes. Now, as a reminder, also, as you see on the screen, we have Slido open. So as I said, any specific questions, please head to the Slido. And now, Julie, I'm going to let you take the mic. Hello.
Hi.
Good
Hi,
morning.
Hannah. Good morning. Thank you for having me. Yes, before we launch into today's topic, I wanted to take this opportunity to remind everyone about the communication requirements around Interreg Europe projects. So let's dive in. We generally have two principles. The first principle is the idea of harmonized project communication. What does that mean? That means that Interreg Europe follows the branding principles of all other Interreg programs. These branding principles were sent to or were given to us by the European Commission. And that means that, for example, your topic color, your icons, they're all very similar to other Interreg programs. And so your project therefore becomes very identifiable within the Interreg community. So that's why, another reason why it's very important to stick to your topic color and to your topic icons, so that you make sure to follow the branding guidelines. The next general principle that we have is the idea of integrated project communication, and that basically means that Interreg Europe has prepared a series of templates for you, and so that all Interreg Europe projects are, again, similar and easily identifiable one from another. And so one of the things that we've done for this, other than a series of templates, is to host the project websites for you on our own Interreg Europe website. So what does that lead to? That leads to the fact that you can therefore find all the Interreg Europe projects on our website using the search, and it also means that you've saved a little bit of money as well, because as we're hosting everything, you won't have to pay those fees, and also you don't have to go out and develop anything new. Everything is prepared for you. Now, the last thing I want to say about the integrated project communication approach is that this helps us promote your content a lot better. If you write any news or events that you think would be interesting to the Interreg Europe community, so not just your partners, not just your stakeholders, but really everyone outside. So this is a big event, for example, your final event, or maybe you have a survey that you need to reach out to a wide audience. Just let us know, and because of the integrated project communication, we can therefore promote this news or event for you. So just let us know if you have one of those. There's a few things that you need to do as a project partner. The first thing is that you need to write a short project description and mention EU funding on any of your partners' institutional websites. So put it on your own website, make sure your partners do the same. And if your institution has any social media platforms, please share the fact that you have been approved for this project and mention EU funding on your social media as well. For your project website specifically, there's one thing you need to do. You need to make sure that you update it at least once every 6 months. Now, we do recommend you do that more often. The more you do it, the better your audience will be. It will bring people to your site. Your site will seem dynamic. So do update it as much as you can. Now, when you update it, you should make sure that you add high quality visual content. So of course, nice images, videos, these are always great ways to engage, to hook in your audience. The next thing would be to talk about your activities. So if you've had meetings, discussions, events, so talk about what's going on, keep everyone up to date. And then the final thing I will mention for this is to make sure you focus on your achievements. So don't just tell me that you had a meeting, but I want to know what the outcomes of that meeting was. That's actually probably the most interesting and important thing for your outside readers. And then once you start to get achievements for your entire project, we want to definitely hear about those as well. And while you're doing all of this, remember, very important, to make sure that all your visuals are copyright free, and that there's a royalty-free, non-exclusive, and irrevocable license for your images, because the program and the commission might want to use them to promote your content. So I think that's all I have to say about the communication requirements.
Thank you, Julie, for going over those points. So hopefully now you, the participants, have a better idea of what Interreg Europe asks you to do in terms of, your graphic identity, how often we want you to update the website, and also some other aspects like the copyright free visuals. Now we have a little quiz. So I hope you're all paying attention to what Julie just went over. Now, Julie, I hope that everyone was paying attention to what you just said, because we're going to ask them to test their knowledge. Oh, we already have some people joining in. Thank you for letting us know that you're there. Again, we're all at home in our offices. However, we're surrounded by people from across Europe and connected to them during this webinar. So it's really nice to see everybody's names, to know that we're not alone here. Thank you everybody for joining. Okay, so we are going to start our quiz with a little true or false question. So true or false, I have to create my own website for my project.
Yes, I'll be very curious to see what people answer, um, because I don't think I mentioned this in those particular words, but it was the answer was definitely there.
Okay, false. Julie, do you want to explain a little bit why?
Uh, yes, sure, yes, of course. So this is correct. The answer is false, and 90% of you, or 92% of you, got the answer correct. And this is because we have this integrated project uh, communication approach, and so the program hosts the websites for you. We've created a template, and therefore you don't have to go out and spend money on developers for yourself.
Yes. Okay, so pretty good job there, everyone. 92% success rate. That's pretty good. And for those of you, the 8% who didn't get it, now you know. So now we have the second question. I have to update my website at least, and we did hear this one. So let's see if you were totally paying attention. Every 2 weeks, every month, once every 6 months. Five
What do you,
seconds left. What were you saying, Julie?
I was just curious to see what people were going to say.
Okay, again, 92%.
I think we've got a very strong 92% of attendees here. It's a very specific number every time. Yes, again, the answer is every 6 months. Now, of course, should update it more often than that, but the requirement is once every 6 months.
So if you have any news that's really important, you can let us know. Okay, what is the best way to keep my users engaged? Focus on activities and achievements, add content every day, make my articles really, really long. Let's see. Almost there, a few seconds left. Let's see if it's again 92% success rate. Um, okay, 97%. Good job, everybody. A little bit higher that time.
Yeah, yeah. So we've gained some points, I think, on the percentage, which is great. Yes, I think focus on activities and achievements. Tell us what you've been up to, and tell us what the outcomes of the activities are specifically. And of course, the last one I think was a bit of a trick question. No one wants really, really, really long articles unless they're reading news on a newspaper in a newspaper. And
Mm,
even then,
and even then.
and even then.
Yes, so, but as kind of Julie mentioned, um, it's always nice to hear any updates. So, um, yes, please let us know and please keep us updated. I run the social media for Interreg Europe, so I do get to see a lot of posts about notably activities and achievements. And when you have a meeting, for example, of course, it's interesting to know who was there. But what we really want to know is what did you learn? What was the objective of your meeting? And later on in the year, we'll have a storytelling training, which I think will be a moment where you can kind of learn how to tell some of these technical stories in a way that's a little bit easier to understand. But we love to hear from you and know what did you learn? What did different speakers, okay, who are they, but what do they have to tell you? And these are really the things that are going to catch our attention and also help us understand your project, because sometimes you might really understand your project, but maybe someone else doesn't understand as well some of those technical terms that are a little tricky, especially depending on the sector that you're working in. So, okay, Julie, now I'm going to ask you a few questions that, oh, congratulations, Anmari. I hope
Oh,
that I'm pronouncing that correctly. For you are in our number one place. Okay, a little round of applause for Anne-Marie and for our top five. And thank you everybody for participating.
yes, those results are very close.
Yes. Julie, now we just have, I'm going to ask you a few questions that I think would be useful for, yes, thank you. Anne-Marie wrote in the chat, yes. Good job. So my first question for you that is hopefully going to be helpful for other people listening. Are there any unique features of the website that you would like to share with us and for the participants?
Ooh, yeah, that's a really good question. Let me think. You know what? I think if I was going to pick one feature that the website that makes it special is the fact that our website is connected to our portal, which is our application and monitoring system. So that means that the information is taken directly from there, and it allows us to automate a lot of the content. So if you think of your project websites, things like the title, the topic, the budget, the contact information, the descriptions of the policy instruments, and just about the project, all this was directly pulled in to your website from the portal, from your application form. So that means that you don't have to start from scratch. A lot of the information is already there. So that's very helpful. It also means that if, for example, one of your partners changes, or if you need to update your contact information, you can go into the portal, update it once, and then the information will automatically update the website within 24 hours. So I think that's a pretty unique feature.
Okay, great. And it also makes it a little bit easier for people maybe who need to share information between the two platforms.
Exactly.
Okay, so everybody, I hope that was a little tidbit of information that was helpful for you. Now, this is my second question. What is the first thing, number one thing, that people should do when they start editing their website? And everybody, hope you're listening because this is very helpful for you.
Well, that question's easy. The first thing you should do is to decide who will be responsible for editing the website. And then once you know that, you go into the portal and you assign them the role of web admin. This will give them the editing rights. This will give them access to the web editing tool on the website. And I think we're going to see a video about how to do that just coming up next, I believe. But basically, the people that will be responsible for editing your website, your web admins, they'll also be in charge. First they need a community, an Interreg Europe community account. So if you registered to the event today, you have already one of those. And those people who will be web admins, they will also be responsible for approving your good practices. So anything that is identified by your project partners, they will be responsible for approving them and putting them on your website. And also they'll be responsible for managing your online community network. Again, this is a feature of your project website that we will see soon. Now, technically, there's no limit on the number of people that can be web admins for the project. So you could have as many as you want. And of course, we do encourage you to share this responsibility amongst your partnership. Having said that, the more people that have the right to edit your website, the more difficult it becomes to track who updated what. And so, I generally would say try to have a limited number while still sharing amongst your partnership. And there's no right or wrong amount of people. It's more how big is your partnership and who wants to work on this. I think that would be my answer to your question.
Okay, thank you, Julie. And so maybe I'll just ask everybody in the chat really quickly. So some of you, we were just listening. So can you just write really quickly the answer for everybody? So is it better to have a super high number of web admins or a limited number of web admins?
You're asking me or you're asking,
Asking the participants to let us know in the
okay,
chat. Perfect.
because
Okay,
because I know
everybody.
the answer. I know the answer
Yes,
to that.
Julie knows the answer. But okay, perfect, everybody. Glad to know that you held on to that piece of information. Okay, so thank you, everybody. I'm really happy. We have a great level of participation this morning. We are now going to flow into our first video, which is going to be about editing your project website and getting started. So again, this is hopefully going to be helpful for you in terms of really getting and launching that website that you have for your third call project.
How to assign your website administrator. The role of website administrator is assigned through the portal, which is our project monitoring system. This is where you created your project and where you will do all your reporting. Only the people with admin rights to your project can add a website administrator. And this is usually your lead partner, but it can be other people as well. So once you've identified who these people are, ask them to log into the portal and go to their dashboard. On there, they should find the project. Click to enter. Scroll down to the project users section. Here you should find a list of all the individuals in your project. Find the one who you want to make a website administrator. If that person is not on the list, simply add them. Once you've found the individual who will become your website administrator, click to enter. At the bottom, you can assign them the web admin role. And finally, click Save. It will take 1 to 2 days for the portal to sync with our website, which means that it'll take 1 to 2 days for you to get access to your website editing tool. Remember as well that you need to have an account in our Interreg Europe community in order to be a web admin. If you have any problems at all, just contact your communication officer. How to access your website's editing tool. Your project admin has gone into the portal and given you web admin rights. It's a few days for the portal and the website to sync. This means that you should be able to edit the website editing tool. But how do you find it? Well, there's one and two ways. The first one is directly from the Interreg Europe landing page, our homepage, interregeurope.eu. Once you arrive, simply log into your community account and select Project Websites. You will arrive on your project website dashboard, which will list all the projects you are allowed to edit. Simply click on the Edit Project button, and this will give you access to the editing tool. The second way you can access the tool is directly from your own project's page. So go to your project homepage by typing in our domain, interregeurope.eu/your acronym. Again, log into the community and the Edit button will appear. You'll find this button on every page you want to edit. Simply click and access the editing tool. You're now ready to start adding information, so why not watch our next video on how to add information to your homepage.
Okay, everybody, now we are back in the studio. So hopefully that gave you a nice little sneak peek on how to get started with your web editing, how to assign web admins, and how to use the web editing tool. So now we have our next video, which is about editing the homepage. So yes, now let's all please watch this.
How to edit your homepage and add an image to the top banner. Your project homepage is really important. It shows people what your project is about and lets them know what you and your partners are doing. You should make it as engaging as possible by using images and videos, structuring your content with headers and bullet points, publishing interesting news and events, and most importantly, writing in plain English. The top banner of your website is equally as important because it's the first thing people will see. It shows your acronym, your project title, your topic, and your subtopic. All this information comes from the portal and you can't change it. But you can, however, add a striking image in the top banner. So to add an image, simply click on the Edit button to access the editing tool. You'll arrive to the About the Project tab. So scroll down to the top banner section where you can see a Add Media button. Now, before you upload any image, make sure you comply with the program's copyright rules. Please don't upload an image you don't have permission to use. And we also suggest that you follow the guidance on width and size of the image. Now, to upload an image, start by clicking Add Media. choose a file from your computer, and fill in the metadata. This information is important because it makes the website more accessible to everyone, including those with disabilities. So please don't underestimate it. Under the alternative text, describe what you see in the image. In this case, I see a blonde woman from the back walking towards her colleagues inside a workshop. Next, give your image a title. For example, in this case, I will say raise project stakeholder at a social enterprise. When people will hover over the image with their mouse, this is what they will see. Next, describe who owns the image. This image belongs to the RAISE project. And give us their website. Finally, confirm that you have the right to use the image and that you grant Interreg Europe and the Commission the right to use it for communication purposes. Now, once you've ticked all that, click Save and Insert, and the image will appear under the top banner of your website. But you're not done yet. Don't forget to scroll down to the bottom and click Save Changes so that the changes take effect and you see them on your banner. How to edit your project summary. Your project summary describes what your project is about. It's the main introduction for your key target audience, so you should write it in a clear and straightforward way. To save you time, we filled in this section for you with the information you provided in the portal. But remember that you wrote this description in your application form with the main purpose of getting your project approved. You wrote this text for us, the program. Now, you need to adjust it and describe your project to your main target audience. And that's not the program, at least not here on your website. So click the Edit button to access the editing tool and scroll down to the project summary section. Here you have the rich text editor functions. You can use them to make your text more engaging. Use the bold to highlight keywords. Avoid italics because it's difficult to read, and avoid the underline because people think it's a link. If you do want to create a link, simply highlight the text, click the chain icon, add the URL, and a title to describe what the link does. This could be, for example, click to go to a new page, opens an external link, click to send an email, click to download. I also recommend you fill out the ARIA label. This helps people with assistive technology understand what the link does. So you can simply repeat what you see, what you've written above. And then when you're done, click Save. Use the bullet points and the numbered lists to make your content easier to scan. Remember that people don't read websites, they scan them looking for keywords and information. Use the copy and paste options to remove any formatting you might have picked up from a Word file, for example. And if you're feeling brave, you can click on the source, which gives you access to the HTML. You'll need this later on to add videos. But don't worry, we'll learn more about these functions when we're learning how to create news and events. And when you're done, don't forget to scroll all the way to the bottom and save your changes so that you can see them on your homepage. Creating a call to action. Call to action is a marketing term. It refers to an action you want your audience to take, like filling in a survey, downloading a report or a publication, or even registering to an event. It's usually written as a command or an action phrase and uses keywords like sign up, download, register, etc. It's really a great way to promote one piece of content over the others. On your homepage, you have the option to add one of call to action. And if you need it, simply scroll up to the top, click Edit this page to arrive to the website editing tool. On the About the Project tab, scroll down to the Call to Action section where you can fill in the required fields. Create a title, something short and catchy, but that immediately lets your audience know what the main subject is. An example could be, do you like our training videos? Next, describe what your content is about in 400 characters or less. So in keeping with my example above, I could write, we want to know what you think about our project website training videos. Are they too long? Too short? You tell us. Next, insert a link to the content you want to promote and write your call to action in a box below. My call to action is fill in the survey. This will appear as a blue button and will really encourage people to click. Finally, you can add an image, and it's important because it's important to make your call to action stand out. But don't forget to comply with the copyright rules. So to add an image, simply click Add Media, choose a file from your computer, or upload one from your media library, and click Insert. Before you finish, remember to scroll down and save your changes. And there you go. Your call to action is now ready to attract attention. What will this project change? Your audience might be interested in knowing what impact your project will have on them, their friends and family, and everyone else who lives in their region. So describing the impact your project will have on the policies and lives of the people in the regions is a great way not only to promote your project, but also to engage with the people whose lives you're trying to improve. So if you wish, you can describe the impact in 1,000 characters or less. Use the options on the rich text editing field to structure your content. Use the bold key to highlight keywords. Use the links to link to external content. Use lists, numbers, or bullet points to make your text easier to scan. And also use the formatting options to remove any unnecessary formatting. These are just some of the options you have available to you. So go ahead and be creative. And then when you're done, simply scroll to the bottom and click Save Changes. Promoting your newsletter and social media channels. Do you have a newsletter to push your project, its events and achievements? Even though we don't provide you with one, we've still made it easy for you to get people to sign up to your newsletter through this call to action on our project website. To fill in the information, scroll up to the top of the page and click the Edit button. This will give you access to the website editing tool. Once on the About the Project tab, scroll down and you'll find the newsletter section. Insert the link to your sign-up form and click Save Changes. This will automatically make the newsletter call to action banner show up on your homepage. But what about your social media channels? Is your project on Facebook, Twitter, or LinkedIn? Do you have a YouTube account for your videos? Are you reaching younger generations on Instagram? Well, you can promote them on your website. You have to go to your social media profile pages. So your project's Facebook page, your project's Twitter. Insert the link from your internet browser into the relevant field. For LinkedIn, you need to share the company profile. On the left, under your icon and number of followers, you'll find a Share Page button. Click the Share Page button and copy the link. You'll find also step-by-step instructions in our user manual. And finally, does your project regularly use the same hashtag? We use Europe Cooperates, for example. You can write it here for everyone to see. And when you're done, don't forget to click Save Changes to apply the change and see the banner on your homepage. You're now ready to get social.
Okay, everybody. So I noticed that we now do seem to have a few questions that have been coming in up, and we have quite a bit of questions that have been coming in on Slido. So I hope also that that was an informative video. We talked about some important points, showing people what your project is about on your homepage. Also, if you need any inspiration, please feel free to look at some of our other project websites. Those you can scroll on our main website. You can find them through there. First and second call projects, you might find some good examples. The importance of writing in plain English so that people can understand what you're saying and that it's accessible for everybody. How to make your websites a little bit more engaging, and also the importance of call to actions, as well as some aspects like social media. Now, Julie, it seems we do have some questions. Also, someone asked in the chat whether or not these videos were available at a later point, and I can confirm that indeed all of these videos are available right now on our website. You can also find them on our YouTube channel, but I believe that Lisa already sent a link. So thank you very much, Lisa, for your proactiveness on that point. Now, Julie, let's have a look at some of these questions that have been coming in. Let's see. Okay, I think let's start with the top one. Also, everybody, thank you so much for putting your names on your questions in Slido. In the past, sometimes when there's a lot of anonymous questions, it can be hard to know exactly who's behind the question. So thank you for that. Number one, the Just Femme PM team. Does the photo and the banner need to be the same with the one used in the project poster?
Thanks, Hannah. That's a good question. The short answer is no. It doesn't need to be the same as the one used on your project poster. However, obviously there would be a logic to having the same image on your website and your poster. So we won't be monitoring your website, but we have had examples of projects who've changed their image during the course of their project for a number of reasons. So we don't have a requirement that the pictures are the same, but generally, I would say that on average, most projects use the same picture on their poster that they do on their website.
Okay, thank you. Now, how does it work with SEO? Can we improve it? Julie, do you want to go over this now, or?
Yes, I can. That's a quite a good question, and it's ironic because we've recently done a number of SEO audits on our site, and we have been working on this. So, fortunately for me, I have something to say. So there's already quite a lot of automated things that have been done on your project website to make your life easier. And so, for example, all the metadata behind and how it shows up on Google and things like this. This is something that we're doing and continuously improving. So you don't need to worry about that. What you should do for your SEO is mostly about your news articles. When you write news articles, the title of your article should be logical, but try and make it SEO friendly. How you do that is basically by trying to find keywords that are popular, that are trending. And so, for example, if you're working on, I don't know, public transport, you could see what kind of keywords are very popular in the world of public transport, and then use those keywords in your title, and also make sure you use headers and subheaders in your article. Google really likes this. It lets the Google bots understand what your article is about, and therefore it makes it rank a little bit higher. So thank you for that question. That was it's quite good.
Okay, thank you. And do we have to upload the main image in the homepage, or do we upload them ourselves? Easy question to answer.
Yeah. So I think if I'm not sure I understand the question actually. I think is it do you mean that it's us at the program who uploads the image? Um, Basically, you should use, if it's logical to use the same image on your website as you do on your poster, and you should upload it yourself. We won't be uploading it for you. I think that was the question.
Okay, as we can use copyright-free image sites, how do we know that two projects are not using the same visuals? Is there any way of checking this?
There isn't, other than going through every single website. When you say use copyright-free image sites, do be careful because a lot of these sites tell you that the image is copyright free, but they have special rules on their licenses, for example, time limits or restricted who's allowed to use it. So do be careful with those sites. We don't recommend them. I think we highly recommend that you take your own photos if you can, and then that way you'll make sure that no one else is using the same image as you.
Okay, is there an existing photo/media library available? And you're welcome.
Um, Sorry, go ahead.
Good for you.
Um, no, we don't have one. We used to have one, but this led to all the problems that the previous question was asking, which is basically everyone was using the same images, and it made the site a lot less interesting. And we had to purchase those images. So again, there was these copyright issues. So we don't have a media library. And I think there are such a variety of projects in the Interreg Europe program that it's much more refreshing to see the images you can bring than what the program can give you.
Okay, thank you. Anonymous wants to know, how many hashtags can we list in the website section for the social media? I think that you might mean handles, like, and not hashtags, but handles, like how many different social media platforms can you list?
There's also the box at the bottom that allows you to fill in some hashtags. I mean, I don't think there's a limit to the number of characters you can put in that field. So you could put quite a few, but of course, the more you put, the uglier it looks. So I think I would stick with something that is highly recognizable and unique to you. So in the video, in the example we had, Europe Cooperates. This is a hashtag that the program has used to promote our events for years, and so it's very recognizable to us. And so these are the kinds of hashtags I would recommend. I wouldn't put, for example, green or some of the more general keywords. Are fine. If you have something that's quite specific to you, then that's what I would use. I know a lot of projects used to use their project acronym as a hashtag. That was quite trendy a few years ago. I don't know anymore if that's still a thing. I have to pass that question on to my social media colleague Hannah.
In terms of how projects can use hashtags?
Yeah.
So recently, basically what we've been doing is at the end of all of our posts, we've been doing hashtag Interreg Europe, because that's our program. That one's easy. But also hashtag Interreg and also hashtag cohesion policy, kind of as a way to bring more visibility to the benefits of the Interreg programs in general, as well as the benefits of the cohesion policy in general, as it's a really important time to be bringing more visibility to the work that we're doing in those fields. So that is also an option for you if that's something that interests you. And you can also always create hashtags for your project if you want to be able to follow a bit more easily your project activities by filtering for that. It could be a bit more tricky, maybe if your project name is a little bit more like generic that other people could just be using in kind of any context. For example, I know we have a third call project called Pollinate, and I'm assuming that if you search hashtag pollinate, you're going to have a lot of different kinds of content that a lot is not at all related to your project. So it really depends on how, like, what hashtag you choose. You can maybe do pollinate Interreg, something like that, or pollinate Interreg Europe, but then that's a bit long. So it's really up to you to decide. Now, Julie, I know that we should be switching to the next video soon, but do you want to take the last couple of questions before moving forward?
Yeah, I think we can take the last three and then we'll move on to the next.
Does the social media account need to be specific to the project, or is the institutional account of the lead partner acceptable?
The answer is that the institutional account of the lead partner is fine. Obviously, starting a new account specifically for your project can be difficult. So if you planned on using your institutional social media, that's fine as well. It's basically the tool on the project website is there to help you promote the social media account where you will be posting about your project. So yes, the lead partner, the institutional account is fine.
Okay, next one from Dario. Can the banner be a video?
That's a really good question, and I suspect that that question also stems from the fact that we used to have a video on our landing page. Unfortunately, the answer is no. It has to be an image, and based on our experience with videos on homepage, I think this is a good thing. Videos, we did an audit on our homepage, and people told us the video was distracting. It's also very it consumes a lot of energy in the servers and things, so it's less sustainable. So we've made sure so on at the moment you can only do a photo.
And also, is it so from Cien, I hope that pronunciation is okay. Is it possible to refer to the newsletter of the project on the project website? Can we also send a newsletter in the back end, or how does that work?
So we have two things. If we have a specific tool on the project website to help you um, uh, get more people to sign up to your newsletter. So the link should be for the sign up form. But if you're just trying to send people to the newsletter just to read, then I would use the call to action. It's more general, and the button isn't already pre-written as sign up. Um, we don't offer you a newsletter tool, and there is no way of plugging a newsletter tool into the CMS into the back end of the website. So yeah, I think you really only have two choices. One is the newsletter block, which leads to a sign up form, or a call to action button, which could take you to anywhere if you had them listed somewhere and people could read them.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Julie. And now we are going to go on to our next video, which is about creating news and event articles, which is useful for you to, as we kind of talked about, publish what your project activities are. So let's please watch that.
Creating a news article. You can promote the latest news on your website to let your target audience know what is happening in your project. Go to the website editing tool and click on the News tab. From here, you'll see all the articles your project has published in the past. You can add news, edit it, or delete it. Click the Add News button to create new content. Once you're here, fill out all the required fields. Start with your title. Make it short and catchy, but informative. Next, add a cover image to make your article stand out. It means that people are much more likely to click on it. Select Add Media, choose a file from your computer or one from your media library. Don't forget to comply with the copyright rules. In the summary box, write a short description of what your article is about. This will appear on the promotional card. In the content field, insert your main text. Use the rich text editor tools to structure your content. We've already seen bold, links, lists, and all the copy and paste options. But you can also use quotes, images, tables, horizontal lines, headers, and videos. Let's see how they work. To add a quote, simply type your quote and click on the icon. To add an image, click the media icon, choose a file from your computer or one from the media library. If you wish to add text underneath the image, hover over the bottom until you see this little red square. Click on it, and then you can type some more. To add a table, click on the table icon, choose how many rows and columns you want, and click OK. Then you can start to add your content. Use the horizontal line to split your content, and use the headers to structure it and make things easier to find. Simply select the text and choose the size. To add a video, click on the source code to access the HTML. Go to your online video channel like YouTube or Vimeo. Find the video you want to embed. Click the share button and select the embed option. It will give you an embed code which you need to copy and paste into this content field. It should look something like this. Once you've added the embed code, simply click the source button again, and your video will appear. When you've structured your content in a way that makes it easy to read, scroll down to add a few tags. Tags are a way to categorize and group your content. In the long run, it makes it easier to find when people search using keywords. Start typing keywords into the tag field and see what results come up. We do have about 400 tags in the system, so try a few different variations. For example, if you cannot find the word bike, you could try cycle. If you cannot find the word train, you can try rail. We recommend you add no more than 10 tags per article. If you find that an important keyword is missing from the list and you think it could be useful to you and others, please let your communication officer know. Finally, select today's date and click Save Changes. Congratulations, you've published your first news. Creating an event article. Imagine you have a stakeholder meeting coming up in a few months, and you need to know how many people are coming so you can book a large enough meeting room and order enough sandwiches. Instead of adding a news article to promote your meeting, why not create an event article? This is because the template is specifically designed to give people the practical information they need to attend. So what is an event? We consider an event an activity that is usually set in time on a specific day or over several days, is location-based, for example, at a specific venue, online, or maybe both, and could have a registration process or might be open to all. If you want to add an event, go to the website editing tool. Next, click the Event tab. This is your event dashboard. Here you'll have all the events that your project has created in the past. From here, you can add an event, edit an existing one, or delete one. To add an event, click Add Event, and fill out all the required fields. Start with your title. Make it short and catchy, but informative. Next, add a cover image to make your article stand out. Click the Add Media button. Choose a file from your computer or one from your media library. And don't forget to comply with the copyright rules. Next, add the date of your event. So open the calendar, select the date, select the start time and the end time. If the event is held over many days, you can click the multi-day event box and then you add the start time, no, sorry, the start date with the start time, the end date with the end time. Afterwards, we ask you for a bit more details about the event itself. Is it in person, at a specific venue, online, or is it both? If the event is in person, put in the address of the venue. Do you have a registration form for people to fill in? If yes, you can add the link here. What about an additional website where you have a lot more information about the event itself? If you have one of those, you can add the link here. This is where you create the button that goes with the event website. And the content box is where you put your main article. Use the rich text editor tools to structure your content. To find out how to use these tools, please watch our video on creating a news article. Next, add tags to your article to make it easier to find. Simply start typing keywords and click to select. Try not to use more than 10 in one article. If you want additional tags, contact your communication officer. Finally, if there's someone people should contact with questions about the event, add their name, phone number, and email. Remember to comply with GDPR requirements and get their consent first. Last but not least, click Save Changes. Congratulations. Now everyone will come to your meeting.
Okie dokie. So now we're back in the studio. Hopefully that was a helpful video to help you kind of understand how to create news and events, which is a really important part of announcing your project activities. So we do have a few questions, Julie. Louisa Marinho wants to know that they will have a kickoff meeting in Portugal, and can we promote it on the website? Julie, I'll let you take that.
Yes, I think so. So yes, I would use the event tool. So we just saw in the video how to create an event. So that's what I would use to promote your kickoff meeting. Again, it allows you to say when the date is, where it's going to be, and I don't know if it has a registration form. Probably not, but you could use that as well. And then once you're done your kickoff meeting, it's probably a good idea to write a news article about how it went, what was the outcomes, what did you learn, and what were the achievements of that kickoff meeting.
Okay, thank you. And now Dario is wondering, is the news date also the publication date?
That's a tricky question because I know that there's a lot of tools that allow you to put a date in the future or in the past. Well, not that a past date is very useful, but especially a date in the future, and therefore your article wouldn't publish until that date. So that the tool doesn't work that way. So whatever date you choose on the calendar for the news date will be the date that appears on the news card. So it'll say it was published on the 30th of June, for example. But if you wrote it on the 28th of June and still selected the date of the 30th of June, the news article would still come out on the 28th. I'm not sure that's quite clear. So the news date is the date you write the article and you publish it on the website. But you can't publish something in the future.
Thank you. Bianca wants to know, do we also need to include press coverage in the news tab?
The program doesn't have the requirements for you to tell us if your project was covered in the press. So you don't have to do that. Of course, if your project was covered in the press, this is interesting and good news, and congratulations. So why not write a news article to say, hey, we were covered in the press, and this is what they had to say. So I wouldn't, you don't have the requirement to do it, but of course it's always fun and great for us to know that, and all your partners and your users as well, the people who come to your website, they would like to know, I think.
Okay, great. And Anonymous wants to know, when should I add an event article? Should I also add an event article for every meeting we have with project partners, or only events that are open for everyone?
That is a good question, and I don't think there's a right or wrong answer. Different projects do different things. It really, yeah, it depends on how you want to use the tool. It's not a requirement to use it either. So yeah, I would say that I think choose what works best for you. If you want to publish every meeting, then you can do that. It might become a bit repetitive if you have quite a few meetings. And so maybe you only want to use it for outside, for when you need to invite people outside the project. But then if you only have two of those, the tab might look a little bit bare. So yeah, it's really up to you, but we don't have any requirements on how you should use it.
Thank you, Julie. And on that note, we are going to head into our next video, which is about policy instruments, pilot actions, and library and context. So please join us in watching this.
How to edit your policy instruments and pilot actions. Your project website lists all the policy instruments you and your partners are tackling, as well as your project's pilot actions, if any. The information comes from the application form you filled in on the portal. You can edit the description of your policy instrument and your pilot actions to make them easier for your target audience to understand. To edit the description, go to the website editing tool. Find the policy instrument you wish to edit and update the information in the text box. Use the Rich Text Editor tools to make your information more accessible and easier to read. Once you are done, scroll to the bottom of the page and save your changes. If you have any pilot actions, you will find them under the Pilot Action tab. Locate the pilot action you wish to edit and click Edit. Similarly, use the Rich Text Editor tool to update the content inside the description and make it easier for people to read. Once you are done, press Save Changes. If one of your pilot actions is missing, or if you need to update the title of your policy instruments, please contact your policy officer for advice. And don't forget to include the lead partner of your project in the email. How to add files and folders to your project library. You can add all the files you wish to share with your target audience on your project website. You can also organize them into folders. To create your project library, go to your website editing tool. Start by writing a short introduction to let your audience know what your library will contain. If you wish to organize your library into folders, create your folder first. It will be easier to add the file inside. To create a folder, click add a new folder. Give your folder a name, something meaningful. Write a short description so your audience knows what the folder contains. And select a few relevant file tags. To finish, click Add Folder. Now you can upload files into the folder. To do this, click Add File. Again, give your file a name, something meaningful. Select the correct folder in which you would like to place your file. If you choose at the root of the library, your file will be outside of any folder. Select the file type, document or image. Make sure you have the copyright to use the image. If you wish to upload a video, you will need to add the link to your streaming platform like YouTube or Vimeo. To add a file, click Add Media. Upload a file from your computer or choose one from your media library. Once you're done, click Upload, and the file has been uploaded to your folder. To finish, click Save Changes. Your file is now, and the folder is now on your library. Remember that your project library will only appear once you upload your first file. And please take care of limiting the size of the files you upload. If you have any questions, please contact your communication officer. How to edit the contacts on your project website. The contacts page on your project website lists all the partners in your project and their contact information. This is to help people get in touch with you if they have any questions about the project. This information is shared between the website and the portal, and each partner is responsible for keeping their own contact information up to date. On the website, a person can edit their organization profile by going to their community menu and clicking Edit. From here, they can update their managing authority status, upload a logo, change the size of the organization, choose a region type, provide a description, social media profiles, and the website. Once you're done, click Save. You'll notice below every other person who has the authority to make the same changes as you. You will notice, however, that you cannot change the name of your organization on the website. If you need to make minor corrections or fix a typo in the name of your organization, please go to the portal. From here, you can find your project, scroll down to your application form where you will find yourself as partner or lead partner. Under the Details tab, please find the button called I want to change the partner name. From here, you can make a simple name change, fix a typo, or perhaps minor corrections. Simply make the change and click Save. If you wish to choose the contact person for the lead partner, scroll down to the project user section, choose the lead partner, and add their role as contact person. Once that's done, click Save. If you need to make more significant changes to your partnership, for example, informing us of a legal succession or a change of partner, please get in touch with your lead partner and your policy officer. How to create extra pages on your project website. The program has provided the same 6 pages to all project websites: the homepage, the news and events section, the policy instruments and pilot actions, the library, the contact page, and the good practice section, which appears when you publish good practices. But you might need or want to create additional pages specific to your project. The website editor tool allows you to create 2 additional pages and fill them in with your own content. To create these additional pages, go to the website editor tool. Once here, locate the Extra Pages tab. You should have 2 drafts unpublished pages to start from. To create your first additional page, click the Edit button. Start with the menu title. This should be short and clear. Next, create the title for your page. Usually, this is the same as your menu title. However, it could differ if your page title was very long. Next, add content to your page. Use the rich text editor tools to vary the style and make your page more interesting. Once you are done, publish the page on your website and save the changes.
Okay, everybody. So thank you, Julie, again for having put together these wonderful videos to help us all understand better how our websites function. Now, Julie, I do have a question for you, which is how can projects invite stakeholders to participate in their online community? Because I know that sometimes it's challenging for projects to really get stakeholders involved.
Yes, thanks, Hannah. In order to tackle this, we've developed a little section on each project website, which is kind of like a little network, a community network. So on the contact page, I showed in the video that you had a place for your partners, your lead partner, and your project partners. But underneath, there's also a place where you can promote all the individuals who are part of your project, and that could be your stakeholders, it could be your individuals partners. It's anyone you choose really to connect to your project. And so there's on the contact tab in the editor tool, there's a little place where when a person registers to the website and to our community, when they sign up to our community, they say, oh, I'm part of Pollinate project, for example. And so the web admin for the Pollinate project will receive an email, and they have to go into the contact tab and either approve or refuse this individual. And if they approve the individual, they will show up on their website, on their project website under the contact section. And this is a great way to promote to promote your community network. And if anyone's missing, then you can also just invite them. There's also a call to action there, which allows you to invite specific people if they're missing. Yeah, it's a new thing we're trying. Popular, so I would be curious to find out what people think about it.
Great. And now we're going to go to a little Q&A session. Oh, we have a good amount of questions here. So the first one, Julie, is from Anita. Oh, how can we change the contact person displayed next to the organization on the project website, which was added automatically?
Yes, this information comes from the portal. So basically, we only have space for 2 slots. So the first 2 people so when you go to the portal and you choose your lead partner and you add them as a contact person. So we saw how to do that in the video. So the website will choose the first 2 people that were selected as contact people from the portal. So it's an automatic thing. We only have space for 2. So how can you change it? it's a bit finicky. You might have to remove the role of contact so that the website updates and then go back and add them later. It's yeah, we had to set up some rules and it was quite difficult to do. So yeah, so it's done in the portal is the short answer.
Okay. Next one, will you provide Google Analytics for each project website?
Yes. So we have a wonderful person working with us now for a little while, Lisa, one of our latest stagiaires, and she's managing all the analytics on all the project websites. We use a tool called Piwik Pro, which is a French tool. So we've gone off Google Analytics to choose a European option. And Lisa basically extracts reports, I believe it's every 3 months, and she will upload the reports for each project website on our SharePoint folder. So where you go, where you found your logo, where you found your poster, there is also a folder called Website Analytics, and that's where we upload the folders every 3 months, I believe. And so that's a good way of keeping track of how your website is doing.
You. Now from Sergio, can we edit/add the available pages on the project home? For instance, add a page for training resources.
So you can add up to 2 new pages. And so if you wanted to add one that was called training resources, you could. It wouldn't show up at the front. It would probably show up as one of the last pages. But yes, you can create up to 2 pages.
Thank you. Can we edit? Oh, sorry, no. Olga, what kind of extra pages do you suggest to create?
So again, this is based on need. When we did an audit of our last program, all the project websites from the last program, we noticed that projects had used this for various things. Some had used it to talk about their results. So we're actually designing a specific page for your results for you, so you won't have to do that. Others used it to promote their newsletter. We had some that uploaded, media references, documents. They talked about specific projects they were doing and tools they were developing, things like this. So it really is. It's based on your need. If you can't think of anything, then it's probably because you don't need it. So then you don't have to create one. But I think when the need comes, you will say, we could use that for this.
Okay, thank you, Julie. And Anonymous wants to know, what is the purpose of the library? Is it internal to use as a depository of photos to use on the website, or external to promote event photos, project documents/results?
That's a very good question. It is definitely external. Everything that is published on your project website is visible to everyone. So don't upload anything that is restricted to just your partnership that you don't want anyone else to see. I think event photos are a good idea. And yeah, we've also seen people publish like I think in the past we had action plans, but also just studies, the results of studies and things like this. So we've seen quite a few different uses of the library, but it is definitely external.
Okay, so everybody, now we're moving on to our next quiz. Yay. Okay. You didn't think that you would get away with only one quiz, I hope. So we are going to move on to the next section, where we will again have a few little questions for you to answer. So with that, yes, join the quiz, everybody. Up, we already have some. Oh, expanding very quickly. Wonderful, perfect. I'm glad to see so many people still on, even towards the end of our webinar. Thank you so much. Okay, so let's move on to the next question, and I hope you were paying attention. True or false? I need a community account to edit the website. I think that this one we might have mentioned earlier on, so you're going to have to do a little reminder from about maybe 45 minutes to an hour ago. Let's see. 67%. Oh, we're far off from the 92% of this morning. Julie, would you like to say more?
Yes, so yes, the answer is true. You do need a community account to edit the website. If you've joined us today, then you have one, so that's already a good start. And yeah, I mean, it's a good way to encourage your partners to join the Interreg Europe community. Again, it gives them access to all our events and our newsletter and everything, all the information we have to help you.
Yeah, I will just add that basically to do almost anything on our website, you need a community account, including registering for events and things like that. So it's a very useful thing to have. And I'll just take 1 second to add, if you want to add a profile picture and kind of add some more information about yourself on your community account, we encourage that as well. So everybody knows who you are, can see your face and understand more about you and why you joined our community. Okay, next question, number 2. How do I add videos to my website? This one we just spoke about more recently.
Yeah, this is a
So,
question I get a lot. I need to do a little standalone video just for that. But yes, this is a question I get quite a lot. So this is why I added it to the quiz. I want to know if people were paying attention.
okay, let's see. Oh, 75%. We're doing pretty well.
Yes,
Julie?
I'm very happy with this result. And this is the correct answer. You have to embed a video from a streaming platform. So if you have a YouTube account or a Vimeo or any other streaming platform, you need to upload your video there first, and then you can put it on the website. This is again to limit the amount of storage we have to hold, and it also improves the performance of the page. So yeah, that's why we do it.
Thank you. Okay, and then we have our last one, which is true or false. I cannot create extra pages for my website. Hopefully, we're going to get a high response rate for this because you just talked about it in the Q&A. So let's see. Let's see. Only a few seconds left.
I wonder who's going to win the quiz this time.
Yeah, I wonder who's going to win. False, 89%. Okay.
Yes, that's good. That's good. You can create extra pages. And yeah, we've seen a whole bunch of different ways that this was used. So I will be doing an audit, I think, later on in a few years to see again how have people used this feature on the project websites to see if it's useful.
Okay, and now it is Alexandra who won, so a little round of applause for you. But again, in our top 5, we have our other respondees. So perfect. So everybody, thank you for participating in our quiz. And now it is time to wrap up this webinar. Thank you, Alexandra, for participating. Now, but please hold on to the end because we are going to have to ask you to do a little closing poll before you sign out. So we would love to hear how you felt about this. But before we get to the closing poll, we do have helps and tips. We have a web editing tool, a user manual, writing for the web guide, a help center, and tutorial videos. So basically everything that you saw today, we have available to you. And Lisa is going to send some links as well. And if you need anything, please also feel free to email us. But most of this information is available on the website or on YouTube. We have playlists with all the videos organized as such. And these are very good tips and very useful for you as well. And now we also have other upcoming things happening at Interreg Europe, which are some upcoming events. If we could just maybe move forward to the next slide. Yes, so project training days for third call projects will be from September 30th to October 2nd. This is going to be, again, super helpful for you. If you're a third call project, we're going to be going over finance, project activities, and communication. It's also just a really nice moment to kind of like, again, put names and faces together and to meet in person and to have fun as well in Lille, where we are based. We also have some upcoming webinars, upcoming thematic webinars, and this is from our policy learning platform. So we have the social integration of migrants on May 15th and on May 22nd, SMEs and environmental and social governance. So please feel free to join us if those are relevant to your thematic interests, your thematic needs. And we also have some other upcoming events, which are on the next slide, I believe, if we could just move forward one slide. Again, we really encourage your participation in all of the events that we offer. And okay, maybe this is the last slide, but yes, so please fill out our closing poll. We'd love to know what you thought of this webinar. And also a big thank you to Julie, who was from our communication team and who was going over all of your questions to the website. Thank you to Lisa, who sent us all of the helpful links, also on our communication team. And finally, thank you to Marie, who organized the events and who helped organize this very webinar and the setup that you see right now. So thank you, everybody. And most of all, thank you to you, the participant, for joining us. And it was really nice to see some of your names on the chat. And yes, we appreciate you joining so much. So thank you and have a wonderful Tuesday, a terrific Tuesday. Okay, so bye, everybody. And it was a pleasure. And we'll keep the poll open for people to respond. Bye.